Welcome back, all my low-carb friends, and for those of you who are new, welcome. Today we have another recipe that is by request. Penny McBride commented about having a wheat allergy and missing the biscotti with the morning coffee. Now, for those of you who don't know what biscotti is basically a dry, hard, crusty cookie or sweet biscuit, whatever you want to call it, that is designed to be made by eating it and dunking it into your coffee. It is so good, so tasty. And so, of course, today's recipe is for keto gluten-free biscotti sticks. These go excellent with your coffee or tea, actually. They go really good with both. Any time of day, morning, noon, or night, when you want your coffee or tea, take a biscotti stick, dunk it in there. Yummy. Also, make sure you stick around to the end of the video and I'm going to show you some wonderful natural ways to flavor your coffee. That way, you don't have to have just plain old coffee with your biscotti. You can have some wonderfully naturally flavored coffee with the yummy keto gluten-free biscotti. And if you want printable versions of these, you can check out my website at janetsdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find printable versions of these and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click the subscribe button. Also, right next to the subscribe button, there's a little notification bell. Make sure you click that notification bell. That way you can be notified every time I put out a new video. And while you do that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line a large 8x13 baking sheet with parchment paper. If you don't have an 8x13, then just as close as you can get. It just needs to be a long baking sheet. In a large mixer bowl, combine 1 3/4 cup of almond flour, a half cup of monk fruit sweetener or granulated sweetener of your choice, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and whisk these together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps in the almond flour. Add 2 tablespoons of oil of your choice. I'm using canola oil. You can use whatever oil you want. 2 large room temperature eggs. Make sure they are room temperature. This makes for a smoother batter. And 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Beat these on low for 10 seconds or just long enough to get the dry ingredients moist because you don't want it flying all over the place. Then increase the speed to medium-low and beat on medium-low for about 30 seconds or just until everything is fully combined and smooth. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push all of the batter to the center of the bowl. Pour the batter onto the center of your prepared baking sheet. Then shape the batter into a flat oval shape. You want it to be fairly smooth and even across the top of it. You don't want one side really thick and one side really flat. It won't cook evenly if you do that. Bake at 350 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes or until the oval is lightly browned. Mine took just a little over 20 minutes. I think it was like 21 or 22 minutes, something like that. But again, as I always say, everyone's oven is different. What you're looking for is for it to be getting golden on the top. It's still going to be a little bit soft on the inside because this is a gluten-free baked good. And as I always say, gluten-free baked goods are softer when they first come out. But don't worry, it will crisp up later. So once it's browned, remove it from the oven and let it cool on the pan for about 30 to 45 minutes or until it is firm. Once it's firm, preheat your oven to 300 degrees, and while it's preheating, use a bread knife or sharp serrated knife and slice the loaf into sticks that are about a ½ inch wide. Spread the sticks out on your baking sheet in a single layer, then bake for about 10 to 15 minutes or until the underside of the stick is toasted. Mine took 10 minutes. Again, everyone's oven is different. So 10 to 15 minutes, you're looking for the bottom of the stick to be toasty. Once it's toasted, turn the biscotti stick over and bake for another 10 minutes or until both sides of the stick are nice and toasted. Now, anytime you're handling warm baked goods, you always need to be careful. Carefully turn these, carefully cut them, because especially gluten-free baked goods, they are very fragile anytime they have warmth in them. Once they cool down, they're not as fragile, but when they have warmth in them, they can crumble and fall apart really easily because they do not have gluten in them. So when you are turning these over on your baking sheet, be very careful so you do not break them. Once both sides are nice and toasted, then remove your pan from the oven and let the sticks cool on the pan until they are crispy. So when they first come out, they still are not going to be 100% crusty crispy like if you've ever had original biscotti. It is very crunchy, very, very crispy, very crusty, very delicious. But if you're expecting these when they first come out to be extremely crisp, extremely crunchy, they are not going to be. They are going to be toasted, but they are not going to be extremely crispy yet. Like I said, gluten-free baked goods come out softer than gluten-baked goods. So they will be toasty and getting a little crusty on the outside, but they still will not be fully crispy. Let them cool on the pan for about 45 minutes or until they get crispy. So they do get crispy, just not when you first take it out. So don't feel like you've messed it up if you take it out and it's not that crispy crunchiness that you're looking for in biscotti. It will get that way. So take it out, let it cool on the pan for at least 45 minutes. It takes a little bit for it to dry and crisp up really well. If you want to, you can always shape this more into a log shape, more of the thick traditional biscotti look. I personally like the sticks that I make because they dip in my coffee really well. They go perfect with it. But if you want more of the traditional biscotti shape, you can always shape this into a log, or I've also cooked it in a loaf pan before. It comes out looking more like a bread shape, but it is closer to your traditional biscotti shape than just the sticks. So it's up to you how you want to shape it. You can shape it like I've told you if you don't mind it being sticks, or you can put it into a thicker log type shape so it comes out more looking like traditional biscotti. It's up to you. Once it's cooled and become crispy, dip it into your favorite coffee or tea. This also tastes really good dipped in milk if you're not a coffee or tea fan. However you choose to eat it, eat and enjoy. In a small bowl or small mason jar, add 1/3 cup of coffee granules, a half tablespoon of brown swerve or brown sugar sweetener of your choice, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Use a fork and mix these all together until they're fully combined. Make sure you get all of the lumps out of the brown swerve. Once it's fully combined, place it in your coffee grinder and grind it just for a few seconds just to make sure that everything is fully blended together and that all the granules are the same texture. Add the mixture to the filter basket in your coffee maker. If you want, you can add 1 to 2 teaspoons of maple extract to give it a little bit more of a maple butterscotch flavor. Then cook as directed on your coffee pot. You can always use more or less of the ingredients depending on the size of your coffee pot. I have a Ninja coffee bar and this is perfect for one full pot of coffee, but you know how much coffee to put in your coffee maker. So basically, after you grind everything up, you measure out the amount of tablespoons that you would need to put into your filter basket. Once it's done brewing, pour it into a cup and drink it and enjoy it. For the chocolate coffee, in a small bowl or small mason jar, add 1/3 cup of coffee granules. You can also use instant coffee if you don't have a coffee pot or if you just prefer instant coffee rather than cooking it in your coffee pot. Add a half tablespoon of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of granulated sweetener of your choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. You can use whatever granulated sweetener you want. This just helps take the edge off the cocoa powder because cocoa powder can be a little bit strong sometimes. And an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Use a fork and whisk these all together until they're fully combined. Make sure you get all the lumps out of the cocoa powder. Once it's all combined, pour the mixture into a coffee grinder and grind it just for a few seconds just to make sure that everything is fully combined and that all the granules are the same size. Then add the amount you need to your coffee maker. Mine uses the whole recipe because I'm using a full pot of coffee. If you want, you can add 1 to 2 teaspoons of mint extract if you'd like a chocolate mint coffee, which is really yummy. Or just leave it as it is for just a good old chocolate coffee taste. Cook as directed on your coffee pot. Once it's cooked, pour it in your favorite coffee mug and enjoy. Another great way to naturally flavor your coffee is by adding a couple teaspoons of ground cinnamon to your filter basket before you brew your coffee, or a couple teaspoons of your favorite extract such as vanilla or any other flavor extract you like. Add it to the filter basket before you brew your coffee. However you choose to flavor your coffee, drink and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more videos like this, then make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.